Are we recording?
I'm doing all these fucking visuals, which are like it means nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
my camera stopped working. It's got this weird stained glass. I'm doing it again with my hands. Like it makes no difference. It had this weird stained glass effect on Zoom. It works on my webcam, but that's why I've just got my initials. So
It's been the most, it's been CP, it's been the most, I reckon you should have probably just had that as default tangent, to be fair. But
I was going
whatever.
to, but
It's
like
been,
they know where they are. I might just play around with it all freaking podcast and just write stupid.
if you can change it as we speak,
I think
have
so.
it as the subject we're talking about. Have it as the subject we're talking about. And then we don't have to do timestamps. Even though I do think you could never timestamp one of our shows.
You could, but it'd be like 1 minute this, 1 minute 04 this, 1 minute 10 this, 1 minute 15. It would be terrible.
But the first half of all of it would be like, so say we were going to talk about Invincible, for example, it'd be like 1 minute in, Invincible, 35 seconds left, Lego, 1 minute again, Invincible, Star Wars, Final Fantasy, Lego, Invincible. And it'd just be like, you'd have about 10 different Invincibles along the whole thing, and we'd probably still never finish. So if you go back to the early episodes of Cyberpunk, it'd just be Cyberpunk sporadically scattered throughout the whole thing. Leon talking, yeah, there we go.
The Cyberpunk 1, Cyberpunk 2, Cyberpunk 3.
Yeah. So ultimately, a few technical issues this morning. We can't. Zoom's done an update, and I'm not able to share my screen. But forget about what we can't do, and let's talk about what we can do, and let's talk about the things we'll talk about. We've kept it relatively brief, and I'll do the introduction. I'm Leon C, and this is Chris P, and he's somewhere in that vicinity.
You don't know where he is. I'm still not going to be there.
But he's not even there. It's just my name. So basically, today we've got a brief agenda because we know how we roll and we know how things go. So as we just kind of spoke about, so really it's just two things to talk about, and numerous other things will probably come into play. Yeah. But the two main things on our mind this week is Chris playing Lego, finally getting into a Lego game. Not real Lego, a Lego game, Harry Potter Lego collection, am I right?
Yeah, however, I probably will end up buying something Lego. I don't know. I like the idea of Lego, but I like the idea of building something. But Lego stuff looks like Lego stuff. And yeah. I'm not a big fan of the Lego aesthetic.
You're so right. And here's the thing I find with Lego, because of course I built a shitload of Lego for August, my boy. You build it, you get the packaging. So we had like some of them are quite sick when you finish making them.
Oh, yeah, we had like the Iron Man. Don't you?
So much Lego. I spent pretty much.
Get some pictures on there next time if you haven't.
Yeah, I do. You have to take pictures of them because they're never gonna stay in that same state. You built it, and then it's all about coming apart slowly over time, and then so. If you don't look after them, which of course, like a little kid's not going to. So
yeah, of course.
You get they've got like the Iron Man Hulkbuster, and like you look at the packaging, and it is sick. And like this is actually a bad example because that one does look really good when you finish making it. But sometimes you'll get one, and you'll see the packaging, and it's presented well, and you think that looks sick. I can't wait to make that. And then you spend like 3 hours making it, and you're kind of like, is that it? Like I find 50% of the time you're kind of like. That is not as good as 3 hours. Yeah, but the Iron Man Hulkbuster was a bad example because that one actually, when I did make that, I was like, "Fuck me, it's actually amazing." Yeah. So some of them are really good, and there is a satisfying feeling when you finish making it. It can be quite like a what's the word I'm looking for? A therapeutic exercise, right? Yeah. But like as long as there's no pressure on you. So like I've been built it under pressure with a little kid, like, oh come on, hurry up. And so I've even said now, after the last one I built, which took me 3.5 hours, which was just the other day actually, which was an unofficial Lego build. It was an unofficial Lego build for a character which is very popular, or at least with August it is, called Bendy. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's in some computer games, and he's quite popular on like YouTube, and there's all kinds of YouTube videos of him. Bendy is this like cartoon character, kind of akin to your Cuphead style cartoon, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
And it was like basically it was like this factory type setting thing, and it's quite simplistic, and it's not like official Lego. but like you've got all this unofficial Lego stuff now. It's still like you've got it from it's still got it from the shop, so it's not like a pirate Lego, which you can also get, which we got a load of Lego off of somewhere on, it was either Amazon or like Alibaba or some random website like where you can import stuff. And we got all these like Lego figures with like AK-47s and shotguns and amazing actually.
I mean, that's not quite the Lego of my childhood. Like
no.
bang,
No,
bang, bang.
Mate, it's like brutal, like flash guns, like proper little like Desert Eagles, like proper like weapons that we know, which is hilarious. There's all kinds of different Lego, but this Lego is like not official Lego. What you'll find with the unofficial Lego is it's not always designed as well. Like, you know, there's not been as much thought put into the engineering. They probably, because I imagine there are people that work for Lego called Lego engineers. I imagine that's what they called. Like they're Lego, not Legos. Hell yeah. People who say Legos,
you're American.
It's like I have a piece of Lego, or there are two pieces of Lego.
It's
like not a bunch of Legos on the floor.
The plural is the same as the singular.
Definitely, like a Jedi.
Oh
yeah,
look at that group of Jedis. I don't know, that kind of works. But also,
I think it does work, but it
does work.
It works both ways with Jedi.
That's the only one I know of in that example.
I would always say they're like a couple of Jedi over there.
Yeah, it makes sense. But if I was to say look at a couple of Jedis over there, it doesn't not make sense.
Does it not make sense?
Yeah. That's interesting. Anyway.
We'll come back to that one actually, because I feel that's a conversation itself. But yeah, in short, they built this thing, and I built up. It took about 3.5 hours, and I said to him after that, you have to build them now, because like he's 6 years old, and like it's the playing of the Lego is the building of it. You can't just like leave it all up to me. And I've built so much at this time. I think he's used up all his free building tokens, like because I have built like monumental amounts of Lego. But yeah, I think it can go 50-50. So and it can be quite therapeutic. And as long as you're not under pressure from a little kid to play it, and you can take your time, then you can have a lot of fun building it. So it might be worth getting some actual Lego, and other Lego games as well.
Lego game, singular. It's been alright. I'm trying to think. No. I know there's something in my recent memory of, like you say, it's very therapeutic doing it. There's something in my head that I've done in a similar thing, and I have no idea what it is. It's completely random there, but I can't think what. But stuff like that is quite nice.
It is. It's satisfying when you get to the end of it and you've done it, and it's like it's nice. It's nice. I mean, like, yeah, it can be good. I'll try and find the video stroke pictures I built up over Christmas, where I just built ridiculous amounts, and I'll send it to you a bit, and you can see all the shit I built. Yeah, oh mate, just so much Lego. So and I took my time building it as well. Like I didn't rush it, even though I felt under pressure at certain points. But yeah, so really over to you, because it's Lego Harry Potter collection. I've talked about Lego in the past, Lego games, and how good I think they are. I think I've touched on it. I know we have. I think I've touched on it on the podcast, but like Lego games, I think they're really, really good. Initially, at first, I turned my nose up at them, but when you start playing them, they're really fucking good games, man. Like, and they're not like, they're pure in their execution, in that they're not trying to be. They know who they are, and they use the Lego. Like, you know, it's not like, oh, we're just going to put everything in the Lego aesthetic. It's like, this game may not work properly if it wasn't for the fact that it is Lego.
They know exactly what their market is, and they've cultivated that over like 10 years at least.
I think even more than that. I'm gonna while you do that, I'm gonna quickly find out the years on Lego games.
The first ever modern Lego games. I know they've had Lego games for a very long time, but I feel like the ones we have now are, in my head, like modern ones. They have a structure to them. The mini kits, the collectibles, the free play, the replayability. I feel like that would have started somewhere. Maybe the Clone Wars, maybe the original trilogy Star Wars, or the prequel trilogy Star Wars, one of those two. I can't think of anything before that.
I think it would probably be Lego City Undercover, which goes back to 2013. That game is actually brilliant.
It's got to be older than that, surely.
Well, Lego City Undercover was 2013. I mean, we have games going back to 1995 on the Sega Pico. Lego Fun to Build. Then you had Lego Island on Windows PC. You had Lego Race. Like then there was a load of like Lego Loco, Lego Chess, Lego Creator, all kinds of things. These do not count. You've got Lego Races on PlayStation 1.
Here we go. What is the first Lego game that is using a license? Like a Star Wars, like a Forza Horizon, like...
I will just say that the Lego City Undercover was the first one that I really got into, that I noticed this kind of style that you were talking about with the red bricks, with that structure. So although it's not a licensed game, Lego City Undercover is very much like similar story as
prototype.
Yeah. But then again, it is also a bit of a GTA type game as well. So we won't include that one. So yeah, so fair dues on the license. If we're looking at the first license,
I would say it's going to be a Star Wars.
Oh, mate. So you've got, I don't know if we can class this. Technically, okay. So the first one that comes up is Lego Creator, Harry Potter, 2001. But I don't think that's what the ones that we're kind of talking about. So I think it probably would go to 2005, Lego Star Wars, the video game, which was on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, and Game Boy Advance.
Like the first trilogy, the prequel trilogy.
That looks like it is. They've gone for a bit of everything, because on the front cover you've got what appears to be Anakin, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, Yoda, but you've also got Darth Vader in the background, R2-D2. Lego Star Wars, the video game, is a Lego-themed action-adventure video game based on the Lego Star Wars line of toys. The first installment in the Lego video game franchise developed by Traveller's Tales. There we go. That's the hook.
How to come downstairs and find some new...
August, I'm recording a podcast. There's an urgency on Minecraft Dungeons there. So you have to come downstairs and you have to see this. So Traveller's Tales, I think, is the hook we're looking for. Traveller's Tales is the thing. It's the thing that connects these dots, I think, with the style of play.
Isn't the games made by a company called TT?
Traveller's Tales.
Yeah, is that not?
That is Traveller's Tales.
What's this Lego Harry Potter Creations? Because I can't see a video game version. I can see, like, I'm googling it now, and I can see like a physical, real Lego thing, but nothing.
Well, I'm on. It's clearly a package then. It's part of Lego Creator, which is developed by Superscape, released in 1998. Construction simulation, single player, which looks like a kind of engine for building Lego constructs.
I see it. Yeah, Lego Harry Potter. Yeah. Lego Creator, Harry Potter. Wow.
But I don't think we can include that in what we're talking about. I think the ones we're talking about are the modern ones, as you say, which would refer, I think, to the Traveller's Tales developed template.
So what?
Jurassic Park is another fantastic Lego.
The Lego Harry Potter ones are probably later in the series. The only ones around them later than them are going to be the Marvel's Avengers and maybe the DC. Actually, there's so many. Like, I'm thinking there's Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, actually, not Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Marvel. There's 6.
Batman, DC.
Batman, DC. There's 7 big franchises they've got there. So, and there's at least 2 games in every one except maybe Pirates of the Caribbean. So there's at least 14 games there. And I've only played Lego Harry Potter. You'd say DC, Marvel, Star Wars. Is that it?
Jurassic Park. I've not completed the Jurassic Park one, but I've played bits of it. Yeah, Incredibles.
Oh shit, yeah.
Lego Worlds, which is like kind of like almost like a Minecraft. But you've got the Lego Movie.
Everything is awesome.
Yeah, and
Cool and you're part of a team.
I just want to shout out as well to those films are fucking brilliant, and
Yeah,
also the Lego Batman. Have you seen Lego Batman?
I did.
Yeah, he's like my favorite fucking Batman behind
Long
like
time
Adam
ago,
West.
but
Oh, he's brilliant. He's such a good Batman. And then also, I've not played it, but you've got Lego Universe as well,
I don't think I've
which
heard of that.
incorporates some of this stuff. Yeah, I don't know if it's like still going. I don't know what the score is with it, but like it basically, you had your core game, and then you had like these fucking like amiibo type deals, and you had to actually build a little thing. And I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
Lego Dimensions.
Yeah, Lego Dimensions. I call it Universe tonight. Yeah, Lego Dimensions. Yeah.
I remember that because Disney had like a similar type product with the
Disney Infinity.
yeah, there was one before that. The Disney Infinity was like a not a DLC but a spin-off. The first one was I think it was Spyro the Dragon related. Now there's a Spyro box on it. But yeah, I never bought that because I didn't have the console. But so yeah, long story. We got roundabout way. Lego games are vast.
Yes.
Replayable, more going into the open world category now, at least
Big time.
there are linear missions, but then outside of those linear missions, there are places to explore. Like in the Harry Potter games, we're playing Hogwarts and Hogsmeade, and I think in the new Star Wars, that's like fucking you can travel to planets in a free mode. Like,
well, you can do that in Force Awakens as well.
Really?
Kind of. Yeah, in Force Awakens you've got different planets, and every planet is a hub world, and in that hub world you've got stuff to do, people to talk to, walk around, blah blah, and then you can do missions from those hub worlds. And like Jakku is kind of like probably the biggest hub world, and you can just race around, go on little races, go fight stuff in the desert, and that. I think you fight stuff in the desert. It's surprisingly satisfying. And then you've got everyone's like when you make a character, you customize a character. You've got all different lightsabers you can give them, but like certain lightsabers give them different fighting styles. So if you give them like Dooku's lightsaber, they fight like Dooku, and it's a different style to the way you fight with. It's surprisingly fucking sick. Like I've 100%ed. I don't know what you call it on Xbox, but I platinumed the game effectively. Like there's nothing left to do for us on Force Awakens. I think like if you're going to be tempted to play another one after this, that's probably the direction I push you in for the next one after Harry Potter, based on what I think Harry Potter is like.
Like I said, well, there's no point me buying this Force Awakens when early next year they're bringing out probably the biggest both Star Wars and Lego game ever made. Maybe with the exception.
Well, it was supposed to be out. It was supposed to be out like this time. I'm sure it's like I can't remember the initial date, but
May
it's been delayed.
2020, I believe.
Yeah, so it should have like I thought we were going to be playing it a year ago, you know, like, and it just keeps getting pushed back and delayed. Oh, we don't even know any dates right now.
This is a big callback. It's all Cyberpunk's fault. All these big games watch Cyberpunk burn in flames and then shit themselves about how it's changing. Yeah,
they don't want to get done for crunch, making their employees crunch. The whole issue of a crunch. They don't want to be getting slated for releasing a game that's not ready yet. So I mean, but to be fair, like I'm not like chomping at the bit for this game. Like I am when it's out. Like if it came out now, I'd buy it now, you know, and I wouldn't hesitate, and I'd be quite excited to play it right now. But at the same time, I am quite happy for them to do what they need to do to get everything right, because it's ambitious and it looks, from what they've shown so far, it looks so good.
I mean, honestly, I haven't seen that much of it. I just know the concept, and it sounds like a very good concept.
Oh, mate. Well, after this, I'll send you, and like, you know, if we had better tech available now, I could play it now for everyone. But like after this podcast,
the two shittest laptops you could possibly want.
And we're not exactly like immensely technically savvy, so or patient is probably another. We're not technically patient either. So, but everyone after this, and I'll send you a link. Check out Skywalker Saga trailer that they released initially. It just looks like such fun. Fun is the word.
And he says
fun.
initially what he means is like 2018, and it's really fucking late.
Man, so brutal though, because it like what they show looks really like. I mean, in hindsight now, it does look like they've like a lot of the games will have these levels where, as you'll know, you kind of the camera's panning across, like you're following these characters, but you're not necessarily like right behind the characters. So
No,
even in like
it's like an old style like Mario game with just more 3D graphics.
Yeah, like DC Villains mixes them both, because in DC Villains you've got all your campaign missions, right? But the open world in DC Villains is combined probably bigger, if not at the same size. It's probably bigger actually. The biggest part of that game is the open world. You've got Metropolis, Gotham, Smallville, Arkham Asylum. Just tell me a place from like DC universe, like, and it's like there. And you can travel between all of them, and you can drive in a car, you can fly, you can whatever it is that. Like I created a character called Bunny Man because there was a mission where you had to like dress him as a bunny, and I thought, oh, what a good idea for a character. I just call him Bunny Man because one of the abilities you can give him, you can fly. Flying is an ability, but you can also have like Hulk jumping, basically, like jump like the Hulk, like fucking. So and I thought he's a bunny. His power makes sense. Like this guy was born with the ability to jump really high. He became Bunny Man. And I've given him a load of Batman style gadgets. But do you ever see Watchmen?
I've seen it, yeah.
Do you know Night Owl? I think it's Night Owl, isn't it? He's got his fucking laser gun. He used it for a split second, and I was pissed off because I was like, that is a sick weapon. But anyway, Bunny Man's got a laser gun, and I just instantly made this character that I just fucking love. And there is no, I should like patent Bunny Man and make a comic out of Bunny Man, because he's basically like a kind of camp Batman with the ability to jump really high, but it's not, you can't fully control it. I just love it. I think it's like such a good idea for a character, because whenever you use the jump, you often will overshoot where you need to go. So it's like, whoa, shit! Like, and I just think it's quite fucking funny.
Overdone it.
Bunny Man. So yeah, DC Villains is got like a big open world element to it, and then you can also go in the campaign levels, which are more like that traditional side kind of panning across. But you can, like, you know, it's 3D, like as you mentioned. But when you look at the trailer for Star Wars Force Awakens, Star Wars Skywalker Saga, it looks like a lot of the levels you'll be directly behind your character, and they're more like third person.
I know they've added in better. They've added, they sort of modded their combat so that, especially shooting, it's played more like a third person shooter. So when you're shooting, you're behind and aiming, as opposed to just looking in a general direction and pressing shoot or attack.
Yeah. They did do something like that with Force Awakens. You've got a cover mode in Force Awakens. They have these sections where you're like, it's like proper gunfights and you're using cover, and they're fucking amazing. It's so simple and it's so fun and it's so easily done, and it just feels like I've said this, Star Wars Force Awakens Lego feels so much more like Star Wars than Force Awakens film. Like when I'm in the Force Awakens Lego, I feel like I'm really playing a Star Wars game. But when I'm watching Lego Force Awakens, I feel like this is like we've spoke about before, hollow and just like corporate crap.
It's not the skin, it's not what we feel.
Exactly. But I do think, and a little mini shout out, because I do think Battlefront nailed that as well. I do enjoy Force Awakens Saga within Battlefront.
Eventually.
Yeah, I got to reinstall that actually, because I've been thinking about the last couple of days. But yeah, so I mean, like, how have you found with Harry Potter? Like, how long did it take you to get through? Because it's 2 games in one, isn't it?
Yeah, I barely even started the first one. I think what's happened is I went so hard on the first one to get everything. I now have had enough of it for a bit, and I'm taking a break from the second one, so I don't want to overdo it and be like, oh, this is just the same old, same old.
Yeah.
So I've done the first one. I think I've done there's 4 films in the first one, 3 films in the second one. I think I've done the entirety of Order of the Phoenix, and I'm part way through a Half-Blood Prince. But I think I'm gonna take a break because, like I said, I think I'm getting burnt out. But it was good. It was really good. Like the replayability of it is literally, that's what it's there for, because you'll go through so much stuff you literally cannot do. It's impossible. You don't have means to access areas, characters. and then you eventually unlock the people with the ability to do the things, have to go back and then redo it. So I did every level at least 3 times, some maybe more. I spent countless hours wandering around Hogwarts trying to find the fucking bricks. That was a pain.
Yeah.
Eventually,
See, I'm all about just guides for them as well. Like, if you need to find something quickly, save your time.
I did that, but I mean, it's easy enough with linear levels, because it'll be like, all right, well, at the start, you need this type of character, so get this character, then go here, and then go there, and then go there, and then go there. So you can literally follow it step by step by step. But when it gets to the Hogwarts, you got an open map, and it's so tedious loading up. Ooh, let's do the Great Hall and the lobby. So you do all that, and then, all right, now I need to go to where am I going? The Hogwarts houses. All right, let's load up another video, and that put me off like for like a day and a half. But then I realized you have red bricks, and that'll be like a gold brick detector, a red brick detector, a character detector. So you turn them all on, and you just run around the castle till you find an arrow. And that simplified the process. So I got it done within about.
That's what I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask just now. That's what I was thinking. Like, have you got the detectives in that? Because that makes.
The only problem was, because I showed this to my friend and he was like, "You're an idiot." It's like, in the defense, I bit my tongue. In the defense against the dark arts room, you should find this token. Go to the dark arts room, not there, not even in the slightest. Wiki, YouTube, over and over and over, could not find anything. And after about the 9th page of like Google, it was like, well, yeah, but there's 2 DADA rooms. I'm like, for fuck's sake. If like you're looking at the screen, the left-hand corner is the defense against the dark arts room. But if you go off down like the corridor or follow like the walkway around, there's just a second room which I'd never even looked in because I didn't think it was there. And there's a character token just sat there. So
would you say that was a game, like a design flaw in the game?
No, that's me being an idiot. Because it's a mirrored room, as in what's on the left-hand side with the 2 rooms, there's the same corridor on the right-hand side, which I did go down, but then I just didn't go down the left-hand one because I just assumed, I don't know, it was just me being stupid. But,
yeah, because I mean, these games are not always perfect.
I mean, no, but like we've said, they're good at what they do. What was really annoying was that final token made me complete the game 100%. But instead of like collecting Voldemort to get 100%, I collected, I don't know how well you know the Harry Potter series. I collected
not well.
Pavel Parvati's ball gown token is my last one. It was like such a fucking anticlimactic finish. I got Voldemort 99.9%. Fuck.
It's like kind of, I mean, maybe not the exact equivalent, but like it's like kind of unlocking Jar Jar last in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, who's the last guy going to be? Oh, it's fucking Jar Jar. Great.
Because the last level, I don't know if this happens in all Lego games, but once you unlock all the gold bricks, of a film, you then go and build a not a portrait, like a thing from that film. So for the Philosopher's Stone, it was Hogwarts. It was the Hogwarts Express. The Chamber of Secrets is the Whomping Willow. For the Prisoner of Azkaban, I think it was Buckbeak, and for the Goblet of Fire, it was the Goblet of Fire. But
you get similar things.
What?
You do get similar things like that in other games, I think. Maybe not exactly like that, but
they take what they have from one game and just not copy and paste, but they could just take so much and just give it a slightly different skin. But for the last gold brick, you unlock this golden door where you go through it and you get to play one last bonus mode as Voldemort, where you just run around London and blow up as much as you can.
You always get them.
Really fun. You have to get 1 million coins and it was just like run
Yeah.
around, just shoot, 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 shoot. The stupid thing is, you kill people, no reward. So I'm fucking Voldemort. That should be the reward. Kill people, get 1,000 coins.
Well, I mean, if he's a bad guy, then shouldn't the killing of them be the reward within itself?
No, I want to kill people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's getting to live out his dreams.
When directly related to this Lego Harry Potter, when this Harry Potter Legacy game comes out next year, I've said it to a few people. It's an RPG. It's like a Harry Potter RPG set in 1800s. It is going to be, no matter how good it is, it's not going to be what I want it to be, because I want it to be so fucking good. I want to live in that world, not as me, not like I'm a fucking adult, I'm not a kid, but like I want to go into that game and live in the world of Harry Potter and just fuck shit up, and it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be able to. I want to murder people. I want to be like Voldemort. I want to just like fuck shit up.
What game like that we have access to now that you've played, kind of like, even if it's like not magic or it's not, I probably can predict which games it would be, but what games do you think you want it to be most like that we already have?
I mean,
or even that, let me rephrase the question. What game has come closest to that, to your vision so far?
It's got this Skyrim on it. That's the pinnacle of RPGs at this point. It's got the vast story, the vast world, the game mechanics, the choices of how you want to play. That's the closest thing, because I don't play many RPGs, but I just want what I want from that game, because when this game releases, this is going to be a fucking hot topic if this podcast is still going, if we fucking remember it.
I don't think it's ever going to stop. It's just going to be, we're just going to have very sporadic times between seasons, stroke episodes.
I want to be able to, because you start in Hogwarts and then you progress, you go from Hogwarts. I don't know what the hell that is. I assume it's going to be like maybe like a third in Hogwarts, where you create a character. This is what I don't know whether this is what I want or I'm expecting, but like, you go to Hogwarts, you build a character, you live in the castle for a portion of the game, learning spells, doing classes, and then you graduate and then go out into the world, and then I don't know what, because Skyrim is an adventure game. Harry Potter's like life, like it's not. Obviously, it's fantasy, but it's not like Lord of the Rings. It's not like there are trolls and shit, but it's people living everyday lives. Lord of the Rings, it's just war all the time, every day. Let's fight. Harry Potter, Skyrim's the same. Harry Potter, people go out and live a mundane life with magic. So I don't know. I think
within Harry Potter, I'm sure that universe, I'm sure you have adventurers, or you have people that like seek certain types of knowledge.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Yeah, so I would say that because I really like in Final Fantasy. In Final Fantasy, you've got what they call grand companies. So you've got 3 grand companies. You start in one of 3 cities, and each one of these cities has its own army, effectively, which is called a grand company. And you can enlist in those armies. And I think you have to enlist. I think if you play through, you don't have to do anything, but if you're playing through the storyline, to progress at a certain point, I believe you have to join one of these armies.
Yeah.
But then you don't have to go and do the missions for the army. You've got different hunts, different missions, provisions. You can like get certain items to bring back to them. So there's lots of different little things you can do for these armies, and you can use that to rank up within that army. But you can complete the game and get right to the end. I mean, I got right to the fucking end of the campaign, like as a private, you know, I did what I needed to do to progress the story at that part, but then I never went back to it. But now, over the last like little bit, I don't know how long, maybe a couple of months probably now, I've really been putting the work in, and it's like I'm part of what the one that's called the Maelstrom. From my memory, there's the Maelstrom, I can't remember the name of the other two now, but there's like the Maelstrom, like the Serpent, something else, whatever. It doesn't even matter. Red, yellow, and like black, basically, as far as colors. And they've got the you've got your ranks, and then when you get to a certain rank, you can actually, you're like a lieutenant, I think is the first one, and you get some squaddies beneath you. And now I am training some of them up, and I've got some of them on max level, and I can send them out on missions, or even better, I can run dungeons and raids with them as, instead of real people, I can use them as AI, which is fucking just so helpful, because when you're certain classes and you've got to wait a long time in a queue, you can skip all that and just play with your AI buddies that you've trained up, and you customize them like as far as what they're wearing, but you get recruits. So they are like recruits with names that come to you and want to enlist, and you can dismiss them. So that's a whole different level itself. But what my thinking is I look at that Grand Company as kind of like what Hogwarts is, and I might be wrong, but like I like the idea, because what I do in Final Fantasy, that's kind of my base now. I'm always there, and then when I want to go up and do something, because the main campaign I've caught right up, we're just waiting for the last bit of DLC or the next bit of DLC.
Yeah.
But as far as like the main campaign story goes, like that's done for me now until the next step. So I'm just doing everything from whatever I want now, and there's hundreds, maybe thousands of stories. I like the idea of being in this Hogwarts world. Like, you get to a certain point within the school, and you're given the freedom to maybe do other things. You can always have the school as the base, but it's like, right, we've like, maybe they add a new mission or a new bit of DLC, or just there's just hundreds anyway, who knows, and like, oh, we're going to go follow this little quest line, we've heard of this mystical thing, or there's a bad guy over in this part of the world, we're going to take a couple of us to go and seek it out, and then you go off an adventure, finish that storyline, come back to Hogwarts, carry on with your day to day. You know what I mean? I think that would be sick.
The only problem with that is, it's a nice idea, except in Hogwarts, you're meant to be a kid. So
yeah,
it doesn't work quite well. But
what if you were like a teacher?
that is possible. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Oh.
there are people in Harry Potter, there are sort of wizarding police called auras. I'm guessing there's going to be an option to become an aura. Or, I don't know, like, that's the thing. The lore of Harry Potter is so big. There's a plethora of things you could do, but I also want the option of, like Red Dead, it felt like a lived-in world.
Yeah.
But that's ideally what you want in that kind of game. Is a game where it feels like stuff's going on, whether you're part of it or not.
It feels like it kind of should be an MMO.
I think as we've seen with things like Fallout 76, where MMOs I'm not a fan of MMOs. So I feel like you have to be online, and it's like, I don't want that.
I know what you mean. I mean,
I think it's not. I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed there is no multiplayer.
Oh, really? Okay, so that
There's definitely been some confirmation on the multiplayer front, but I don't know whether it's like no microtransactions. You're gonna quickly Google it now.
Well, I think then what it's going to be, right? What I think it's going to be, realistically, I think it's going to be a story-driven game that is not open-ended, and that you pretty much play. It's going to be. It feels to me like they're just going to like try and give you an original story using the Harry Potter franchise. But who's developing it again?
I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I'm just looking at it now. Hogwarts Legacy.
Avalanche.
Here we go. Hogwarts Legacy is an immersive open-world action RPG set in the world first introduced in Harry Potter books. Now you take control of the action and be at the center of your own adventure in the wizarding world. Embark on a journey through familiar and new locations as you explore and discover fantastic beasts. Customize your character, craft potions, master spellcasting. Spellcasting's interesting. I don't know whether they're going to have because in Harry Potter, it's the flish and the swish. That's not a lightning scar on Harry Potter's head. That's the motion of the wands you make when you cast the killing curse.
Right.
So I kind of feel they might have like, at the very least, an option of advanced casting using the thumbstick. Like you use
Yeah.
it as a movement, but then when you go into a duel or you want to cast a spell, you like press LT to aim, and then you use the right thumbstick to cast particular spells. So you could like be like when you play fucking a Tekken game, you're fucking flippy dippy combos left and right, but not button mashing in such a precise way, you'll do exactly what you want. I'm flicking that right analog stick and hitting you with 6 different spells before you know what's happened.
I think I know what this game's going to be like based on your
That sounds
description.
so fucking cool, though. That
I
what
have
I
a.
just said there sounds so fucking cool. Like I fucking hit you in the face to fucking paralyze you. I then fucking lift you up, throw you into the air, and hit you with a killing curse before you fucking touch the A button.
I think that this game is. I've got a game on the PlayStation called Magica, right? Now, the phrase they used to describe Hogwarts then was action RPG. That, for the most part, describes a Diablo type game. Because I've been playing a lot of those recently. A fucking lot of those types of games. I played a little bit Diablo, Torchwood. No, Torchlight, not Torchwood. Torchwood's a TV show, isn't it?
Torchwood is a spin-off series from Doctor Who.
Oh yeah. Well, Torchlight 3, and Minecraft Dungeons, and I've been playing like some other random ones as well. But those are mostly described. Those have been mostly described as action RPGs, and I've got an action RPG on the PlayStation called Magica, and it's very fucking interesting, right? Because you have a magic system which is fucking nuts. You can basically, you've got like ice, water, fire, lightning, death, life, and rock. But you can mix these, right? You've got like a bar underneath your character, and you could by hitting these by combining different types of these things, you can do different things. Like if you use the analog and direct it at the enemy, it'll just do a beam. So if I just do like life, and just throw it as a beam, I will start healing the enemy. But I've got another button where I can use the ability that I've just enchanted my staff with on myself, which is like R1, I think. So I just do like life, R1, heal. You know what I mean? And then you've got like do it around you. So it could be like life, put it in front of me as like a shield of health. So if I've got other people I want to heal, of course you can do this with death. You can do this with ice, you can do this, and you can mix them. So I've had like lightning and fire mixed into this kind of crazy black lightning or like black fire it as a beam. You can basically combine all these different elements into different spells and use them in different ways. And you can enchant your sword with it. So it can have like a big rock sword or a big fire electricity sword or any of the above. And it's fucking it took me a little while to get used to it. I say a little while. It took me like you start playing and it feels like a bit cumbersome, but then you realize once you get used to stuff like knowing there, you tap them in, you can start checking together some pretty freaking cool spells. But it's kind of top down-ish. I've got I like these games. I really like these games at the moment. So I've got a good feeling, but it might be a bad feeling for you. I've got a good feeling this Harry Potter game might be a top down action RPG, almost like a dungeon crawler. Which I would like that.
That would take so much of the world and the visuals out of it. I don't think I'll do that. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if the gameplay I've seen is like official, but it doesn't appear to be that way.
Yeah, I know. From what we've seen, it mostly looks like a kind of a third-person game. Oh, well, I just remember, even if it's just right now, The Ascent is out on Xbox. It's multiplayer. I've played it. It's really good. We should definitely go up on that, but park that anyway.
I've just been reading up on Harry Potter on the FAQs, and there are some fucking great ones in here. Some
really
it makes you think like, are some people sick? But anyway.
Oh, great in that way. Come on, let's hear some of them. Let's do it.
I'll go through the good ones first, the sensible ones. Who's publishing it? Warner Brothers. Obviously, they own the Harry Potter license. Portkey Games label, and it's being developed by Avalanche. Never heard of Avalanche. Portkey Games I feel like was created by Warner Brothers specifically for Harry Potter type games because portkey is a thing in Harry Potter. Released 2022 on all the usual things. What is J.K. Rowling's involvement? I don't know if you know about J.K. Rowling's controversies recently.
I do know a little bit about it, but that's just from you, I think.
Yeah, basically.
I think you spoke about it on one of the previous things, but yeah, she's not liked by many.
Not like, well, she said some perceived transphobic stuff, and now a lot of people are like, boycott J.K. Rowling, but Harry Potter's fucking great, so it's not going very well. So people are like, I want to play this game, but I don't want to support J.K. Rowling. You've got to pick it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
How does it fit into the world? It's not an adaptation, it's an original story. What will be interesting is, and this doesn't say anything about it, is whether it's canon or not. And I don't think it's going to be canon because basically there's a bit more information on the story. Where was that big old thing I saw? Let's go back a minute. Experience Hogwarts in the 1800s. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient secret that threatens to tear the Wizarding World apart. You receive late acceptance to Hogwarts. That in itself kind of breaks the fucking Hogwarts lore. Anyway, of which customer would be, and soon discover that you are no ordinary student. You possess an unusual ability, so it's definitely going to be a single player story. You are no ordinary student. You possess an unusual ability to perceive and master ancient magic. Only you can decide if you will protect this secret for the good of all or yield to the temptation of more sinister magic. Bitch, I'm embracing sinister magic.
Yeah, I think, right, what we've got here then.
As you make allies, battle dark wizards. Bitch, I want to be a dark wizard. That's why I'm fucking playing the game. And ultimately decide your fate, the fate of the Wizarding World. So yeah, that's kind of the synopsis. Sounds good.
So I think it could maybe then also be thinking about powers and how you would use powers, and based on what they've said there as well in its descriptor, it could also be a kind of Mass Effect clone with a Harry Potter skin.
Yeah.
Because you've got those kind of powers in Mass Effect.
I don't know what those powers are going to be though. Like, it can't be anything basic from Harry Potter because they're all stuff the characters we know and love from you. So it's gonna.
Well, it'd be like levitation, blast, like force push.
Yeah, but
lightning.
Yeah, that's the problem. These are all basic spells.
Stupefy
does that. Levitating, levi corpus lifts people up by their ankles. This is all like basic stuff. Anything you can think of, Harry Potter got a spell for it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the not loophole. That's the corner they've booked themselves into, because as much as people might hate J.K. Rowling, she has built a fucking intricate world with so much shit in it. They must have pulled them out of their ass to make this make sense.
Well, I mean, maybe it won't make sense. I don't think that, like, realistically,
Another one of the questions is, will Hogwarts Legacy adhere to Wizarding World lore? Yes. Well, Hogwarts Legacy is not a direct adaptation of the books or films. The games are anchored in the Wizarding World lore. So I feel like they're going to do it. This is like, either this is going to be a Skyrim level game or an
Avengers level game.
A Cyberpunk level game. And it's been delayed, so I feel like they're aiming for the fucking Skyrim level game.
Well, honestly, I don't even know what to expect. I mean, there's things they say in their language that suggest it could be this kind of game, and then there's other things they say which suggest it could be that kind of game. It feels ambitious, but at the same time, it could just be corporate talk, and this could just be like, I mean, realistically, I think what we're probably going to get is something akin to a Force Unleashed Harry Potter. That was
dividing. That was because some people hated the Force movie. Well, that wasn't an RPG though. So I kind of get
It was an action RPG. That you could call that an action RPG.
None of that game was an RPG.
Oh, you can call Star Wars Force Unleashed an action RPG because you do upgrade your abilities, and that is like the epitome of an action RPG is that. So like, I mean, if I type in Force Unleashed, I'd be surprised if they didn't describe it as an action RPG.
That is not an RPG. An RPG gives you choice and gives you
an action RPG.
No, I mean maybe officially that's what it is. But
oh well, it says action adventure here, so
you need choice.
But I mean, an action
agency in RPGs. Your choices.
Well, an action RPG. Here's what we've got for action RPG. When I type in action RPG on Google, and I would say most of these fit the bill. Actually no, because I've typed in action. Oh, actually, well, role playing. I've typed in action RPG. Actually, the ones it gives us at first are Elder Scrolls, Skyrim. That for me is just a pure RPG. Dark Souls, which is kind of an action RPG. But then you've got Path of Exile, Diablo, Cyberpunk. They've called an action RPG. Torchlight, Dark Souls, Monster Hunter, Diablo, Fallout. So that's a little bit. I don't know.
I feel like I think as we discussed earlier off air with the whole like one sport can alter your perception of a different sport, even though it shouldn't. I feel like when I think RPG, I think fantasy. So to put Cyberpunk as an RPG, I find that hard to not stomach. I find that hard to mesh the two. Even if when I think every beat of an RPG, I feel I struggle to mesh it because it's not fantasy. It's based in reality.
Well, not necessarily reality because it is fantasy. It is definitely fantasy, but it's just not that magical fantasy.
Cars, there's cities.
It's science fiction. But the RPG, I think entirely as role-playing game. So like for me,
every game I play, I'm playing a fucking role. That's why I hate that phrase. I play 2K20. I'm role playing a wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm role playing a footballer. Doesn't
work. Okay, but I'm gonna lose my point. Like with role playing game, I think leveling up, an air of freedom, and basically being able to build your character to fit a role. So when I hear role playing game, I hear like your role now is healer or your role now is tank. Like to fit that role, that you have to play a role within this story that isn't just generic, but you have a specific role to play. With action RPG,
that's probably what they're going for with RPGs, and I'm just fucking around. Really, carry on.
But you were right. I mean, like 90% of RPGs is like within a fantasy within a fantasy setting, a classic fantasy setting. So I definitely get that.
A sort of gaming typecast kind of thing going on.
But I definitely put RPG and action RPG in like not two sides of the same coin, but they're definitely apart. I mean, when you type in, one of the questions here on Google is what is the best ARPG? The most common use of the ARPG standing for action RPG, but traditionally action RPG means Diablo, and the ones that have come up here are Path of Exile 2, which is like Diablo, Torchlight 2, which is like Diablo, Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor. I've got that. It's free on Xbox. It's actually $6 and it's multiplayer. That is again like Diablo. And then there's a couple I've never heard of, like Vulcan, Titan Quest, and Victor Vran. But the RPGs are traditionally talked about in the same style as Diablo, that kind of top down, just like hack and slash kind of everything around you. But then you've got the other ones which are like Devil May Cry, Force Unleashed, Bayonetta, where they're like more action adventure than action RPG. But some people, like corporate companies, will use the phrase RPG just because. Yeah, you know what I mean? Even though
Yeah,
it's
well,
more of like an adventure game. So everything they're saying about this game to me feels like it's not going to be so much an RPG, it's going to be an action adventure game. You'll probably have some kind of skill tree, but I don't think it's going to
I
be
just feel
like
like I hope, I fucking hope, and I get the impression they're gonna give you a KOTOR type, not that in depth, but good guy, bad guy choice.
I do think that. That's why I think
I
like
hope
when you
so.
mentioned
I
that, it
fucking
reminded
hope
me of Mass Effect.
If not, I'm gonna be
Because yeah, it
really
could just be like a
disappointed.
mate. It could just be like a KOTOR, like because KOTOR is the same developers as Mass Effect. So when I say Mass Effect, I should have probably said KOTOR instead because KOTOR and Mass Effect are the same kind of games, but one's just more around shooting and the other one's more about one's got more shooting than the other in, let's say. But no, I mean I wouldn't be surprised if they're going for a Harry Potter style KOTOR, which honestly, for what they want this game to be and what it sounds like, is probably the best thing to do for it.
Yeah, it sounds very sensible. Lots of story options, branching stories.
I just noticed, well, we're way past the Lego. We're kind of moved past the Lego conversation, and without even realizing it, onto Hogwarts Legacy.
Well, we're also
You know, totally.
on 55 minutes.
So this has just been a Harry Potter episode, stroke Lego. So I knew it.
Hogwarts for Legacy.
Yeah, keep it going. That's fine. So, I mean, basically, yeah. I think in my kind of final thoughts on that is, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, as you know, but I will admit, like it does help when you know somebody who is into it, because I don't really know anyone else who's really into Harry Potter. So I've only had the position from the side of people that don't like it. But knowing how much you love Harry Potter, and hearing you speak about some things, I will admit this game at least, I'm open to looking at it, because I think like especially after playing like the Conjurer class in Final Fantasy and getting that little
Final
wand.
Fantasy in there somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, I know, but like mate, when I was playing it,
did not mention Final Fantasy.
Well, I'm sure I've mentioned it a couple of times already, but like when I had that little wand and I'm doing my magic and there's certain little things I've done, and my favorite class is White Mage, which is what the Conjurer evolves into. I thought, oh, Chris, I love this, and then I love that class, so I'm open to like magic with wands and shit. Like, don't get me wrong, I still don't really like Harry Potter, but when hearing some of the stuff you said about it, I'm definitely I'm open to this game.
That's the thing with games. It's a two-way medium, because this is a nice little point to end on. People that aren't fans of wrestling will play wrestling games because the game is fun. And
yeah,
it's happened the opposite way with Lego. I'm a Harry Potter fan, and in the past, I've not enjoyed Lego games. Whereas Lego Harry Potter, I went hard on for a week, and I completed that game 100% for the first time in my life. So it's things on one side of it can draw you to the other if you're not fast.
And I think that's a good shout as well, because like I think like I do try to be as open-minded as possible with certain things, but we get into like our own heads that we don't like a certain thing, or that a certain thing just doesn't quite do it for you. So having something like this that can pull you in and open it up a little bit is sweet, because I definitely think even if you went to play another Lego game after this and you weren't quite on it, I guarantee you probably be a lot more on it, because you know the platform, you know the template, you'd be more into it.
I've actually reinstalled the complete saga for Star Wars.
Nice.
What I might try and do is play the first collection, have a break, play the second collection, have a break, try and play the Star Wars ones.
And I'll say this, that Star Wars game, right? Funny, even though The Force Awakens is what I think is the best Star Wars Lego, right? The lightsaber fighting in that Lego Star Wars is fucking awesome. It is so good, and you'll see exactly what I mean. If you get two Jedi fighting, it is actually amazing. You'll see what I mean.
I do have a bit of a memory of that, to be honest, but that's if I get there. All right.
Because you can just like, especially if you're deflecting all the blast as well, and you can direct where you're flicking. Oh, so good. But yeah, so I think like well, I think that's it for the episode. We don't need to. I'll save some of the other stuff I
Yeah,
had for
I'd
next
say
time.
this was everything from your side, but we're like literally 59, 44, 45. So
Yeah,
we're
this is
an hour.
yeah. Let's be disciplined. We'll wrap it up. But
Yeah.
I think it's been a good podcast. I've been thoroughly intrigued, and like it's always the case when time flies. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm done. I don't know if you're done. No one can see you waving, but I'm done.
I'm good. Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope it's been fun. Keep a lookout. We try to do it weekly. Not always going to happen. We're fast and loose, but ultimately we are Default Tangent. See you later, everyone. Bye.